everyone, to podcast number 89. I hope everybody missed me, but I'm your host, Kerry Kreitz. We have the
We certainly did.
Tim Dexter, and DB, everybody's favorite interviewer / commentator.
I feel like we should all be in a yoga pose or something right now.
Yeah.
Right? In a
Should
yoga
have pulled up
pose.
some of those pictures.
What's your favorite pose there? Like one of these?
You know what?
The praying mantis. What is that?
They weren't very comfortable, to say the least. It was sort of to prove a point about the Alberta government a little bit, but it was. If you guys don't know, they opened up yoga because they said it was strenuous, I guess, activities,
low intensity,
and for a fat guy like me, that took a lot of effort. So I was just trying to prove a point out there.
You look like a seasoned veteran, though. That wasn't your first time doing yoga. I mean,
it was, and Dexter had guided me very well.
I was guiding him along.
Yeah, he guided me very
Tim,
well.
That is not warrior's pose. You've got to get your leg further out. Move your arms.
Oh, it sounds like Dexter's the expert. We need the next ones of him doing the advanced poses or what?
Yeah, you should have seen Grandpa walk in and look at us, and it's like, what are you guys doing? So Grandpa had a little bit of resentment, but
he just kind of stood in the background, just kind of like casually. I'm just gonna go back to the office.
What has Sherwood Bowl turned into? Sherwood Bowl, the yoga studio.
Yeah, he doesn't even question his grandchildren anymore. Yeah.
Good on you for having some fun with it. Sorry, Kerry, we just jumped.
No, it's perfect.
Oh God, yeah. That turned out really well. Yeah, that was really sexy. Yeah.
I'm sure you fell over within seconds after. Yeah.
No, it wasn't so bad. No,
that was fine. He was actually decent with that one. He cannot do his side plank if his life depended on it, though.
Too much upper body weight. Too much upper body weight. No. I was like, and I kept on saying, "Are you taking the picture? Taking the picture?" And he's like, "No."
That's right. That's funny.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, so obviously this is the spot where we plug some of our merchandise. So I know Dexter's wearing some. DB, I think you got a sweatshirt on.
Yeah.
You can get that at store.5pennyuniverse.ca. And if you're a Patreon member of ours, you can also save some discount codes we have sent out every month to help lower those costs for you. And these are just our Patreon members on the screen here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, you go patreon.com/5penuniverse. And for as little as $2 Canadian per month, you can become a Patreon and get those discounts if you want some clothing.
What about that limited edition photo that was out there?
Yeah.
A new edition. It's almost turning into a top seller too. Like flying off the film.
Yeah, we're 40% sold on those already. It's good. I'm really glad there was only 5. But yeah, if you're looking for some signed merch, we have pictures of Tim Wiseman up on there, which is fantastic. But if there is an actual market for this stuff, let us know, because I'm sure we could sell better things than Tim's picture.
Yeah. we might be able to pull some strings and maybe get some real autographs from real legends in the sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sorry, Tim. No bashing, but just
that's okay. I think I could have sold one of my yoga photos today too. So to Henry. So
we'll see. One of those up with signed, maybe.
Yeah.
The only thing we're just gonna have signed Tim stuff. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. just only Tim Weisberg. Also, we like to shout out WCBT swag, such as this hat and stuff. You can get that at the WCBtour.ca. There's a link there to the Shopify store that we are running for that swag as well. Lots of bowling towels, more bowling related stuff than just clothing for you guys out there. And our sponsor of the week, All Star Bowling Sales, we'll put up their links here in their commercial, but you can buy their stuff as well. lots of companies out there in the bowling world that need your support right now. Obviously, all the proprietors need your support, but also the companies involved with 5-pin bowling, right? They're just as shut down as everybody else at this point. So we'll kick off their little commercial here, and then we'll bring our special guest of the week. Tim's reading some comments, I see.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay. So obviously our special guest of the week, as a lot of our viewers seen on the poster that we put up on Monday, introducing them, really needs no introduction, has been a mainstay on Open, Masters, the cash circuit earlier in her career. Well, not so late. She was part of TSN, I believe, 14 times. We have Miss Sandi Anderson. Mrs. Sandi Anderson, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, not a problem.
We have had a lot of people really excited to have you on. So
Cool.
This is an absolute honor. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, hey, you're welcome. I'm glad that that you guys thought enough of me that you wanted me to be on here. So hopefully I don't disappoint. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, zero pressure.
I think we've got lots to talk about, so it's going to be good, right? So.
Yeah.
And there's Scotty. Scotty does a quick little in and out. Hey, Scott Barber, thanks for chiming in.
Yeah.
He says honored to play mixed team with her. Got to see how clutch she is in the anchor spot firsthand. We talked quite a bit about this anchor spot and being able to throw some big strikes. So we've done a little bit of research and talked to a few people, and that seems what they all say. So
okay.
Don't be surprised if you might see a few photos popping up throughout this podcast, Sandi.
Oh, good Lord. Okay. All right.
Anyways, let's start. How are things these days COVID related? Obviously, work. I know you're retired. How are things happening in Winnipeg for you on a personal level? Tell us a little bit what's going on in your daily life these days.
Sure. Not an awful lot. I've been retired for a couple of years, so I'm at home. Get out for the odd walk when it's nice enough. We actually finally had some nice weather today, so we were able to get out for a nice walk. But other than shopping and watching terrible news on TV and listening to podcasts, you know what? Not an awful lot. We did get some good news though that on starting on Friday that the bowling centers are going to be able to open. But they're not sure yet exactly what that's going to look like. So more news to come, but looking forward to that very much. Can't wait to get back in the lanes.
Now, is Manitoba part of a stage process as well? Like it's stage 1, 2, 3, 4, Alberta, that's how it's working here? Or is it just sort of blanket, everybody can now open starting Friday? How does that work?
You know what? It's not, they don't really call it stages. They've pretty much been doing every 3 weeks. They'll say, well, let's try this for 3 weeks. And then once you're 2 weeks into it, they'll say, well, here's what we think we want to do. When the current restrictions are up, what do you think? And we actually, they invite us to go onto a website to engagemb.ca to give our opinion. I don't know how much they actually take your opinion into account, but you are able to, to give your opinion. And so every few weeks, something else might open or it might not. They can, 3 weeks goes away and they might say, yeah, we're just going to leave it the same. But it's not so much we're at stage 1 or we're at stage 2. It's just, hey, we're going to do this time.
It's nice to hear that they're actually trying to listen to you, though. That's really good.
Yeah, I hope it's not.
I don't think we have that.
Yeah. No, like there's no, none of you in Alberta, you don't have the opportunity to.
They have town halls, but they're not.
You might get an answer and you might not. For example, in November, before we shut down, I had put, well, actually not even November, in October, I had put in two requests into the AHS about tournaments coming up. Waller numbers were still good, and I got a response back in the middle of January.
Thanks. Yeah.
No, we're shut down now. Obviously, we can't run this, but thanks for getting back to me.
Yeah, they do town halls here too as well, and you can sign up to be part of that. But I'm afraid that the process might be quite the same too. You know, if you've got too many people wanting to ask a question, it might not necessarily get answered. So,
Correct.
So, a lot of us put in. There was a big push this time to go on and do the survey and say, hey, let's get the centers open. So I think they probably got quite a few people pushing at them. So if it works, great.
Bowling community comes together and all the membership. Let's email people or message. That's a good idea. Mark.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah.
Now, have the bowling centers, like, they've all been completely closed since?
Yeah. It's some of them that have bigger kitchens are doing takeout food, but that's it. But other than that, we've been shut since the beginning of November.
Right.
So like nothing, not for practice, not for anything. So some of the ones that had more of a food business could open just for that, but a lot of them don't fall into that category, so they haven't been able to open.
Right.
Yeah, St. James kind of moved into that direction on purpose, right? So
they
kudos
did.
to them.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Robert Gallagher here in Stettler, Alberta, running a pub out of the bowling alley now, which, hey, you know what? Good for him.
Yeah.
Honestly, if it works, it works.
Yeah. You know what? You have to sometimes change to get any kind of business whatsoever.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, what's the vaccine are they doing in Manitoba? Is that over 75 or have they opened to others now?
So right now the public is if you're over 91. Or if you're Indigenous, they have a lower age for that because we have such a large Indigenous population in Manitoba and they are being hit quite hard. So I think if you're Indigenous, it's 71. But it's going kind of by, even that, they were originally doing it by decades, but they started at 95, then they went to 91. So I'm still thankfully I'd love to get the shot, but thankfully I'm still a few years away from being next in line. Yeah.
I think here in Alberta they're doing 75, and then for Indigenous they're doing 70.
Yeah.
Grandpa went and get a shot today, so I know that for sure.
Oh, nice. Good.
Yeah, he went and lined up. It was pretty good. None of them socially distanced, but they were there. So
oh my goodness,
none of the seniors they all piled in. So
and you're not you don't have to make an appointment.
It is definitely an appointment.
Oh, there is. Yeah. Okay.
And they all showed up about 45 minutes early to their appointment. And then they all had to wait outside in the car, right? So they're like, "Oh, we can't go in." No, it's all by appointment. So So they all lived and learned, right? But they're really patient people there, so it was good though. Yeah,
good.
Yeah,
my mother-in-law went and got to, and like you said, everybody. The first couple of days, everybody lined up, and it was complete chaos. But
I bet
it seemed to have made things better. Now you're only allowed to come up to the doors 5 minutes before, or they have a big sign flashing now serving 12 o'clock noon appointments, right? So,
and where are you guys doing that? Where do you have one? We have a super center out of our convention center.
There's lots of places here in Edmonton that
have lots.
Yeah, okay. When you go online, you book which location, whether it's south, northwest, to Sherwood Park or whatnot.
Wherever it is.
Choose, but there's 100, at the same time slot, right? So they're getting through quite a few.
Yeah.
There's talks that they're going to open up the Expo Center as a super vaccination site once they get more availability for vaccines and stuff that.
That would be amazing because the one that my grandpa went to today they were pumping out 1,300 vaccinations just in the one today. So that's awesome.
That's what we need, right? I mean, is just keep vaccinating people and get the most vulnerable first and then work your way down.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Or it could be like Texas and just say screw it and everybody opens up and we're
exactly.
Here you go.
Yeah,
Here
exactly.
you go, everybody.
Yeah. Alberta is Canada's Texas, so
right. Before we go into the early years bowling, I saw Jennifer Haas's comment about Jim Llewellyn's Island Lake lanes. That seemed like a pretty cool theme.
I was just going to talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. How did that come together? And have you've gone and visited? And
absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. So he started off with doing one bowling alley. He lives in an area that has like man-made lakes.
Yeah.
Okay. So and they always freeze them. They're always frozen over in the winter, and there's walking paths and stuff on it. And everybody in their area uses the lakes quite a bit. So he decided that he would put an ice bowling lane in. So he just cleared off the snow, and he took pins from his center and painted them and filled up some milk jugs. And you were using a milk jug to throw at the pins. You have to set your own pins, mind you now. But so he started with one lane, and then he put a second one in for a while, and then he ended up with 3, and then he had to close down because we got a little bit slushy. But then I believe he had 6 lanes going on the weekend.
Holy crap!
Wow.
And so people were complaining that well, we need some way to keep score. So didn't he create some big scoreboard and he put it right out on the lake? Hey, so it was yeah. He's pretty good at promotion, that boy.
Well, that's very smart of him, obviously, to keep the interest going around there and promote his lanes when it's back open again. And it was cool to see lots of different photos and people going out and playing.
Yeah, and he got quite a bit of coverage in the like on the radio and in the press too. So that was awesome, for him and for bowling. And then he started some snow bowling in some of the schools up by himself too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that the kids could do that for their recess or for their PE classes.
That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, it was neat. Yeah.
I might have a photo here sending you of proof evidence, Sandy, of you bowling at the lanes too. So somebody must have been in.
Great.
Must have been watching.
May we ask, what was your high score, Sandy?
I only threw 4 frames.
Oh.
And I threw 2 strikes out of those 4 frames. Yeah.
That's good strike percentage.
That's what I thought.
And there's time to pack it in, right? Couple of strikes and time to...
Yeah, and that was it. But Jim's taking credit for that because he was setting pins for me and I was setting pins for him. And he claims he set my pins far closer together than I did when it was his turn.
17-inch pieces, 17 inches.
Yeah.
Eh?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you put him on 18, you're on 17. That's not fair.
Well, exactly. There you go. Yeah.
That's great. Funny. Good idea. At least we don't see photos of Jim doing yoga or anything like that. He's still
No. But I have to say, Tim, I thought you had fabulous balance.
Thank you.
Especially if you've never done that before.
No.
I got to give you props for that.
Sandy, everybody has great balance in a still picture.
You don't know how many takes it took. There's Sandy and Jim at the lanes. Yeah.
Somebody's been talking to Jim. All right. I see. Okay.
No, that's not Jim.
Jim. Bring that back up. Bring that back up.
Yeah.
Jim's got a point.
Yeah, they are closer.
Like he was being pretty generous.
Yours are so. You set them up so spread out. They're almost side by side.
I think. Well, okay. Jim might have a point. He's listening to this and he's just peeing himself laughing right now.
Okay,
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's talk bowling there, team.
All right.
So where did we're counting? We're getting the measuring stick out.
Okay, I get it. We're doing the close up.
Big and
I had way better form.
Okay,
yeah.
I believe that.
Where did bowling start for Sandy?
Where did bowling start? Bowling started.
Many people have family that have been in the business. Is that the same for you?
Not really. No, they. My mom and dad played at some point, but certainly not. Dad would play league type thing, but Rossmere Lanes YBC. My dad started coaching there. A bunch of guys from our local Kiwanis club, like a service club. A bunch of them were helping out at the YBC doing coaching, and hey, why don't we do this? Okay, so I was probably 6-ish when I started at Rossmere, and I played Rossmere all through my YBC career, and played a lot of YBC provincials. Did not make it to a single YBC national in my entire career until I started coaching. And then I got to go to a couple, so that was cool.
As in YBC.
Yeah.
That's super neat.
Now, does Winnipeg have a similar, like a intercity type challenge between bowling centers? I mean, there's 35 different bowling centers in Winnipeg. Not that many. Being,
no.
You know what I mean? Like, is there a competitive between the bowling centers back and forth? A little bit of an internal competition.
Like for YBC growing up,
or just not. In the youth leagues. Like for example, in Edmonton, we have it's called the Youth Travel League, right? It's called
really
two different things, and basically a team from Sherwood Bowl would go and play against a team from Bronx and then Bonnie Doon and St. Albert. So they have it, there's 6 times a year that they play these little mini events, right?
Yeah.
But it gets the kids in the YBC an opportunity to compete at a little bit of a higher level, right?
Yeah. We didn't when I was growing up, but Amanda Devaney now has, for the last few years anyways, has started something that she calls interzones. So that's exactly it. The kids from one center will play against other centers, but that was certainly not when I was going through YBC. That's just something that she started in the last maybe 4 years.
Right.
So, and I know that that's quite popular with the kids because they do get to do that.
Yeah, I mean, and you open it up to more people that not necessarily always playing the youth challenge. A smaller group, and then
exactly
moving on to the open type of thing. So at least exposes them to a little bit of competition.
Yeah, they do that. We used to have, I guess we had 4 or 5 tournaments a year that you could go to before the interzones came up, but the interzones is by far seems to be taking off more than any of the little cash tournaments that they had done for the kids.
So where would you have gotten the competitive bug as a youth, or did you really not get super competitive until after, or is just in the fact that you just didn't make it to a nationals?
Yeah, I made probably from my last year of bantams all the way through my last year of seniors, I made every provincial and just nothing clicked, whether it was a single or whether it was a team, just didn't click. And of course, as soon as I graduated from YBC, Rossmere Senior Girls.
Yeah.
But just a timing thing. I guess I was competitive. Like I certainly enjoyed the competitive aspect of it. I didn't like today when people come out of YBC, like some of the kids, well, they're averaging like 240, 250. Well, that didn't happen when I was in YBC. Like I probably left YBC with a 220 average, maybe, if that. Didn't play any competitive leagues really. Well, actually, I played, there used to be a league after YBC, originally called YBC Majors. I don't know if you guys had something like that in Alberta or not.
No.
And then YBC, it was someplace for people to go once they finished YBC. So it was, still younger people, like young adults. And then YBC Majors became Molson Majors. We got a brewery involved. But that was more of a fun league. I didn't play like a competitive league. I guess my first competitive league was Park Alleys had a ladies league, and that would have been 83-ish, I guess. So I was already out of YBC for 4 years before I played that, and made my first team the first year I tried qualifying, and it's pretty cool. Got to go to Newfoundland as my first trip. That was really cool.
Totally.
So then I was kind of hooked. Yeah.
That would be it for you.
Yeah, it was good.
It's that you had mentioned the youth or the transition league. That sounds like you even mentioned the Ontario Yaba League.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be somewhat of a common thing. Obviously, we know now Yaba doesn't exist in its true form, but it's anybody who bowls. But I like how there is that transition league opportunity for people to play, right? For sure.
Yeah. We try in the league that I play in, and I only play one league now, but we try that when we're looking for a spare or something to get a YBC senior or something, just so that they can get the experience of bowling with, within an adult league type thing, just so that they know that there is something else. A lot of kids will do their YBC because that's what you do, and then they're done. And some kids don't pick up a ball again, so it is kind of nice to show them there is other stuff out there.
Now, what league? What league do you play now?
I play out of Rossmere still. It's called EK Senior Mix. It's a mixed league, not terribly competitive. A lot of the people have been in there for years, but it's close to home. I enjoy the people, so that's what I do. I occasionally spare at a couple of other places, but not terribly often. And then Masters. Yeah, that's about it.
That's about it.
Yep.
I agree with you, Sandy. Like there has to be on the point before, there has to be a way of developing your kids.
Yeah.
And kind of growing through them.
Yeah.
I know, like out in Alberta, and I know we've tried out in Edmonton, really try and develop our youth in a way. Try to. I know Daryl in the past and Schultz's, and I always say I kind of wrote a piece with for Tom Patterson about just kind of paying it forward a little bit about always trying to, we were fortunate where we were and trying to bring it forward that way. We started doing like a pro-am kind of tournament in Edmonton. We had like our pros in Edmonton, and we try to develop our 17 to 19-year-olds and try to encourage them to participate. And because there's a lot of people that just feel like out of place when they graduate, right? And then they either just drop off or whatnot. So I think that's a very like a big valid point out there. I know like our match play leagues out here, our Wednesday match play league obviously dropped out and no longer around, but that was a big way. We got a lot of younger kids in there. But there has to be ways for at least the bowling community to carry that forward. So I do commend you guys for doing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't you get that pro legend idea from somewhere else, Tim? Where did we get that from?
Well, it was kind of Newfoundland actually ran something like a doubles thing out there for a while. And then we kind of went off that and we kind of made it a little bit bigger because Newfoundland did a little bit something similar to that. Because
what is it? We have 2 YBCs, 1 pro, and then 1 legend as the coach, right? Right. So what we did was we have, depending on the year, we have 2 or 3 age kids, 17 and 19. And then we have a pro, like we try to mix it up between men and ladies, enough age group in there. And then we have a legend. So like say somebody who doesn't bowl anymore, but like a Dwayne Anderson or Jerry Anderson, or we bring somebody like Kelly Cornelius is on there. She's a lifetime member. So we bring her in or somebody like that, or Bruce or Lynn. And then they would kind of be the team leader, right? And they would set the lineups or whatnot. And they would kind of develop the team. I think Daryl was a captain one year, and Daryl buried Mark Johnstone in the middle between all the kids because he was so brutal, and the kids loved it, right? And honestly, and the great part was that the following year, right afterwards, all the kids kind of got all the pros' numbers and the legends' numbers, and they would text them and they would ask them questions, and they would keep in contact with them, and then it kind of carried over, and then we saw our numbers increase for the Open and the IPs and all other stuff in the cash tournament. So we saw a big increase with our numbers with that. So we saw a positive increase. So it was kind of a lot of fun that way. But I remember that. I remember Daryl just burying Johnny. Yeah. Sounds like something I would do. Yeah. But, I mean, lots of provinces are doing something, similar or something.
Yeah.
You have to have a avenue for transition from the youth to the adult. So whether it's a league, whether it's our pro team, whether it's open communication between them all, I mean, that's how you get the future of the sport.
Sure.
So, that's just the way that we do it. That's neat. So
cool.
You had mentioned the Newfoundland. That was the Open, you the first one, or was that a Masters that you played?
The Open was my first one.
Right. So let's go into the Open.
Okay.
And reading off some of the stats of Sandi Anderson is something for people to be amazed at. There's not many, or if any at all, that would have the stats that you have, Sandi. So we're happy to list some of them here.
Okay.
So for the Open, 24 national appearances, 9 gold medals, 2 silvers, 5 bronzes, and 5-time All-Stars at Nationals. Can you put that into words a little bit about some of those experiences of the Open, or
Sure.
maybe early off in the 90, the Newfoundland experience, and start with the early ones and work our way up.
Okay. So the Newfoundland experience, obviously, I didn't have a clue, what this was about. You get thrown in with a bunch of ladies, fabulous women that I looked up to and I got to play with. I saw it more as it was a good experience, and it was a wonderful time. I like to think I was competitive. I don't think I probably played that well, and we didn't medal, but it was certainly a good start, and it wanted to keep me coming back for more. 90s is where we did our best work. We had a lot of the stats that you read out are team based. The only gold in there that's single is the one single that I won for in C5. The rest is all team based, and it's a team sport, and I love playing team sport. And we have such a wonderful, not just a small group, but we've had wonderful players all through my career that I've had the privilege of playing with, that have, yes, I have some great accolades because I've been there and what have you, but it's a team thing, and it's always a team thing.
Who are some of those great teammates? We know, Karen Armstrong, Chris Monchak, some of those, but we love to hear names on here, and some of those we may not remember, and your coach too there, so we'd love to hear those names.
Sure. So some you might not know. Jackie Sokolowski is actually Chris Monchak's sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she was on a number of the teams. Deb Sinicic, which probably predates most of you guys bowling. She was a wonderful bowler, through just a super, super fast rotating ball. She was awesome. Linda Oren, Derek's mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, she was on a lot of those teams. We had the one team where both Karen and Linda were quite pregnant. We did well.
Another one.
We did well. Here we go again. Pregnant ladies play well, eh?
Yes.
Yeah. Jamie Socks, who went to Saskatchewan, and I think she's actually back in Manitoba now, but I'm not positive. Who else do I have here? Carrie Thiebert, Deanna Barber, Scotty's sister.
Okay.
She was on a number of the teams. Barb Justice, she doesn't play anymore. I'm pretty sure you guys wouldn't recognize that name. Who else? Holly Tchaikovsky came in later years. She's kind of a not a whole generation. Well, yeah, pretty much a whole generation behind us. So she was on the more recent teams. Who else? Jana was Alblas. A lot of times I played with her, but Jana Van Wallingham now. Karen Bourne, Jeff Bourne's wife. There's some names for you. And then, as you alluded to, led by Dylas Turner for pretty much most of the success that we enjoyed through the 90s was having Dylas Turner as coach.
Mm-hmm.
I unfortunately started playing. Actually, she played the very first year that I qualified for the Open. She was still playing. Certainly not at the top of her game, but she was still playing. And then I think that was the last year that she probably tried to qualify. But I benefited, or we all benefited, from her deciding that coaching was her next thing because she was outstanding at it. I don't think you have to be a former player to be a good coach, but it doesn't hurt. And she was an outstanding coach. A lot of the stuff that I use now in my coaching came from her. I know, same thing for Jim, my husband, a lot of the stuff that he uses, because he would come in to all the nationals and watch. So he and Dylas would be in the back, going at it, and she'd use him for a sounding board and he'd get stuff off of her. So her friendship and her knowledge in the sport is just unbelievable. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think it definitely helps being, having played at a high level for sure. Because at least you understand the situations and a little bit more comfortable, probably a little bit more, confident in making polls and changes like that, lineups and whatever. Yeah. So I definitely think that's a huge benefit. It's not a requirement, but definitely a huge benefit.
Yeah. Like I can say, I know how you feel, or I've been there. I know what you're going through. Well, yeah, you do. So it's not just somebody giving lip service to, I know how you're feeling. Well, no, you don't. You've never been there. Again, that's not to say that somebody that hasn't played can't coach, but I think it is probably beneficial.
Adds a lot
Yeah.
to the experience too, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
So in 91 is where we had a pretty big moment where you had
We did.
single and
Yeah.
ladies team gold with an all-star. How was that, having to play both and at such a high level and getting an opportunity to play in the finals and to win them all? We'd like to hear some stories about that year for sure.
Okay, so the first, what was I going to say? That one? Yeah, the first year that I qualified for singles and team, I gave up the team to both singles because everybody, again, I'm young, I haven't been in this very much. Everybody I talk to, oh, it's a lot of bowling, and it's a lot of pressure, and maybe you don't want to do both. Maybe you can't do both really well. So I just chose to play team. I mean, I just chose to play singles.
Right.
When I got the chance to do it again, after that first one, I swore that if I ever got the chance to do it again, assuming I'm healthy, I won't make that same decision again. I will play both, and it was the right decision. It's a lot of bowling, but yeah, I would today I might not make the same decision at my age and stuff, but yeah, it was absolutely the right decision, and I don't know where we are with C5 right now. Can you do both still?
Yeah.
Because I know we went through a period where I think it was just
Where you
Manitoba that maybe said no, but I can't remember what it was, but there was a period where you could no longer do both, but then they did go back to both, right?
Yeah.
So you could do both.
Yeah, it was a year. I think it was 2011. I believe it was around that time because Adam had to choose. Yeah.
Yeah.
They went back on it, so you could double up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, it was that was pretty cool. That was those 2 years, 1990 and 91, were pretty special. Yeah, winning gold in both Masters and in C5 over those 2 years that was the height of it. That was pretty cool.
You remember who you played in the final as a singles there?
I do. I played Lynn Allard from Quebec. She had bowled outstanding the entire week. She had bowled just phenomenal, and I had the better game in the final. And it wasn't. I had to play her twice back then. It wasn't. You have to beat the first place qualifier twice. It was one game, and I had the better game.
And she was the higher qualifier.
By far, yeah. She blew everybody else away during the week.
Right.
Yeah. And she played well. She played well in the final, but I played weller.
Yeah.
It was it was very cool. Absolutely very cool.
And how about the team? Sorry, Tim. Who did you play in the team final?
On that team? Oh, you would do that to me, right?
I actually have it. I have it all here. I actually brought up the stats.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm all ready for you. So,
okay.
Your team was Chris Monchuk, Jackie, Dee, Barber, Karen Bourne, and Deb.
Right. Oh, I thought you were going to tell me who we played. I knew who the team was.
Oh, I have your team here. I actually have it here ready for you too as well. Don't worry. You guys played. Your team. You guys. Oh, Manitoba swept a lot there that year. You guys played Ontario.
Oh, okay.
You guys played Ontario. So that was, Ontario. I can't recognize any of the names there. Riel Champlain was the coach that year. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So that's what I said to you guys before when I talked to, oh goodness. You're gonna ask me when that was, aren't you? That was Calgary, I think. Am I right? Do you know this?
Is that 97? Yeah, 97 Calgary, I think.
Yeah.
Do you know who's feeding me the photos now?
Well,
no,
I'm trying to. So I gave that to Tom.
No. It's your buddy Arnie.
Karen. Yeah. Okay. I might be okay with Karen because she never used to take an awful lot of photos, so there's probably no incriminating ones of stuff that happened off the lane. So I might be good.
We wouldn't do that to you,
okay.
Sandy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any more of those, gold medals? I mean, 9 gold medals. Love to hear more about some of those years and some of those teams that you would have played on, and some of those events that stand out to you.
Sure. I guess the other one is going back to back to back. We won gold
Triple.
3 years. Yeah, we won gold 3 years in a row, which was really cool. Again, in the 90s, and I'm going to have to look at this because I can't tell you what year that was.
97, 98, 99.
Was that
It
ever
was.
happened?
Look at that.
I mean, has this ever happened before? Three-peat? I mean,
I'm sure. You know what? I'm sure Ontario in there, Ontario was really good, and then Alberta started fielding some outstanding ladies teams. So
I don't know. I don't know if it was the same teams though. I mean, really. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is the COVID teams right now. I mean our team right now, but I mean that's because of COVID. But
see you later, Tim.
Yeah, I'm still here, and I agree with him.
I mean, how many back-to-back wins has there even been? I wonder. Lots, but it'd be cool to hear that and some of the names that are. Or then, I mean, how many 3-peats? How many 4-peat? What's the most that somebody's won in a row? How many Montreal Canadian dynasties is there out there, right? Like,
yeah.
You know what? If Tim Hooper is listening, and I think he is, he's a stats genius. He could probably tell you that.
Yeah.
But so were those 3-peat? Was those teams the same ladies that were on the team?
There were some of the same. Jamie Sox was on 2 of them. I don't think I had anybody that was on all 3. Nope. No. I didn't have one that, because we when we were trying to put together some of the names, I didn't have on all 3. But Karen was on a couple of them. Karen was on a couple. I think Chrissy was on a couple.
99 looks a whole different, and really the biggest one is 99.
Yeah, because Aaron and Sharon Zaborniak. Sharon just kind of came out of nowhere. And if I'm not mistaken, she played both. I think she actually, I might be wrong, but I think she actually played the singles too. I don't know why that sticks in my head, but it's still the same. It's always been kind of the same core of people. That the thing with playing something like that out of Manitoba is like Winnipeg is such a huge population base that we are like some of you guys that have. How many zones do you have in Alberta for C5? We've got 5 zones. We have 3. Okay, and one of them is Winnipeg, and then the other 2 zones they're smaller rural zones, and they've got a few individuals that are like really good and can compete absolutely, but to try to find 5 or 6 of them, that compete, it's a numbers thing. Like we just have, we've just always had so many more numbers. So when you see that many times going to a national, well, sometimes whether it's Alberta, whether it's Ontario that has more zones, sometimes it's harder to get out of your province than it is to do well at a national. Well, we don't. The ladies typically haven't had a hard time getting out of the province. The men's is a little bit different. The other zones in the men's do have more guys that can compete, and they do quite regularly. Kenny Wilson's out of Central. They've quite often gone to the nationals too. But the ladies, they just don't have enough of them to be able to field a team that can necessarily compete. So a lot of our teams got to go.
Fortunately, and Karen made the comment there in 2000 you lost in the final for the 4-peat, so you would have gotten silver, right?
That was the ladies. They finished. I wasn't on that team.
Oh, okay.
The 2000 and 2001 went Hamilton for some reason, and I don't remember why. There was some scheduling thing, and they ended up doing the nationals in the same place 2 years in a row. And I chose not to go either time it was in Hamilton for some reason. I don't know why. I like Hamilton. I don't know why I didn't qualify either of those years, but I didn't. So,
what an amazing stat Tom Patterson put up there about Norm Shannis.
Yeah.
we
Good
bring
about
up the
Norm
conversation
Shannon.
about repeats, and Norm
Won a
Shannon won a
gold.
gold each of the 7 trips he made to national championships pre-1973.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah,
That's pretty outstanding.
yeah, yeah. I wish that he was still playing when I came around. It's funny because he's always at the bowling alley. Hey, Masters tournaments, he's there. Like he's watching. Like and doesn't matter where it is, he's coming. He's driving and he's coming to it. And every time you talk to him, oh yeah, you know, I could. You never know. Maybe next year. No, Norm, you're not going to go out and play again. But he's, yeah, I would have loved to have seen him play in his heyday because he was absolutely amazing.
What a great dude. I mean, what a great family, really. But
yeah,
he also gave us probably the most terrifying ride of our lives.
Oh, is that right? He picked you up at an airport then?
Yeah, we were there. What was that? 2010?
2010, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
2010.
no.
He picked us up, and like we're all crammed into this van, and I swear to God, the entire ride there, he's having a conversation with himself or with us, and he's sitting there driving and staring at us for like literally the entire ride. And I'm like, Norm, you're like 80, eyes ahead.
Oh my
It was a
God.
good time though.
Yeah.
Got trapped behind the pride parade. It was a good
Nice.
time.
Yeah.
It was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, how about the last handful of years? Open, still going strong. I know you worked really, really, really hard to make a mixed team, and finally made it here.
I did make a mixed team. Yeah. Yeah. Not the one that Scotty's talking about, but yeah, I made a mixed team in Sudbury, and we won. So that was kind of cool. So I got to tick that box, getting a mixed team gold as well. So that was really neat. Yeah,
That's a great team too.
You know what? The mixed team it's just such a different dynamic. It really is. Like you're still. Is that me making that noise?
No,
No, that's
sorry.
Carol.
That's
Okay.
just me.
Thank you for calling him out though.
Okay, no
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, like you're still super competitive, but it's just a different. It's just a different dynamic, and it's as competitive as it is, it's fun, you know, and that's a really good experience. Yeah.
Would you choose to play ladies or mixed? If you had to choose between one of them, which would you choose? And I'm not saying like picking specific teams or whatever, but based on dynamics, do you have a preference?
I would probably still choose the ladies team. If I was capable of throwing, if I was capable of, you know, still competing at that level, I would probably choose the ladies team. Just to try to prove to myself, if nothing else, that I could still do that.
Yeah,
for sure.
But have absolutely no problem with the mixed team either, because that's a lot of fun.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a totally different dynamic, right?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. After I play on so many men's teams, and Daryl can attest, and Carrie can attest, playing on so many men's teams, and then you play on a mixed team, it's a totally different emotional level and different feeling altogether, right? So yeah.
Dexter, have you never played mixed? No.
I played one mixed team in Youth Challenge, and that's about it. But I've never played on an adult mixed team. No.
Right.
Not yet, anyways.
It's different, but it's totally fun, right? It's a different type of fun for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is.
Before we move on to the Masters, and then we'll also talk about some of the CBC TSN stuff, rounding out to the Open accomplishments, wanted to chat quickly about the experience as being named as one of the top 100 bowlers of the century by C5 in 2009. Pretty amazing.
That was cool.
And inducted into the C5 Hall of Fame in 2019. Do you remember about the top 100 ceremony? Did you big plaque? I know that there was some stuff that went out there. How did that go for you? Or, surprised or appreciative?
Appreciative, I would say. It's certainly, always nice being included in that group of people. And it's funny, every year when skipping to Masters for a second, they always take a top 100 photo the people that are in the top 100 that happen to be at the Masters, whether you're playing or not, whether you're whatever, they always take it. So it's always kind of neat to see who's there that year, and so kind of a really neat keepsake. But very honored to be included in that group of people. We each got an individual certificate type thing. Yeah, that's very nice. Yeah, very nice.
And then the Hall of Fame in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
That little induction must have been pretty cool and flattering as well.
The girls and Bruce.
That's right. The girls and Bruce.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Just the way Bruce likes it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was
And just the way the ladies like it too, probably.
it doesn't suck. Yeah, that was really nice. And the cool thing about that was that all of us that were nominated actually got out to the national to receive our awards in person. Like, that's not something that was paid for by C5. We all decided individually, like, we didn't really talk about it. Like, we did in Winnipeg, obviously we said, like, we're going, right? And everyone's, yeah, we're going. But it was very cool to see that it meant enough to all of us that we wanted to be there, not just have your name announced or what have you, but that we actually wanted to be there to physically be inducted and to be part of the celebration. So yeah, that was really cool. That was nice.
Really
very deserving.
It was really cool seeing you girls with Dylas. Like, I've never met Dylas before, but seeing your guys' kind of bond with her was really neat.
Yeah, she we are Dylas's girls. That's what we've been called for years. We're Dy's girls. That's just kind of the way it is. They did a Manitoba 5-pin did a reception actually for the four of us that were inducted. They did after we got back, but they had a reception, and Kenny Wilson did wonderful videos of people talking about us, and yeah, it was pretty special.
Neat. How about we move to the Masters, because there's an even better resume on the Masters side of things.
Well, a longer one. I don't know if it's better.
Well, maybe not from the gold perspective, but I mean, 32 national appearances on the Masters is pretty remarkable. 27, of course, playing, and now 5 coaching in the last little bit. Nice little transition, but 3 golds, 9 silvers, and 4 bronze. Mm-hmm. Any of those stick out? Some of those medals and some of those master years playing?
Yeah, the first 2, obviously 1990 and 91, with winning gold in both of those years and winning gold in the C5 as well. That was just, those 2 years were just unreal.
So is that both? So both opens and both masters. So 4 golds in a row, basically.
Well, 5 because I had the singles in there.
Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, it was
incredible.
Yeah, that was definitely the highlight. I don't know. Certainly my first best experience. How about we go there?
Sure.
My first best experience. You mentioned the word transition. Transitioning out of bowling into coaching. I'm stubborn. Okay. In my mind, that was a temporary transition. Going into coaching. I love coaching. Okay. But I'm still out there trying to qualify. I've had some injuries over the past years. And this year when bowling started, actually, I was so excited because nothing hurt. I'm like, yes, here we go. New season. I can play. Well, we're shut down. Awesome. Yeah. So I'll certainly continue to coach, but I'm also out there trying to make the teams as well, because I'm stubborn enough to think that I can still do that.
Of course.
Yeah.
I think I just got my hand slapped. Everybody else?
No.
I think
because it was a transition.
Yeah.
I just made it clear that maybe it's a temporary transition.
Yeah.
Sandy, you don't have to be nice to us.
I don't.
You can tell DB to sit in the corner. And,
Oh, okay, cool.
You put him on mute, please. He's
Yeah. Well, I think that's the second hand slap because he already did the dinging, right? That's second. Third one he's out, right? So
yeah.
And in all fairness, Daryl did try to. Well, did the same sort of transition for a little while too. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Fair point there. Yeah.
Jesus,
The old one and done on the coaching, couple coaching, and then okay, I
don't want to do this. Yeah, it's hard.
It's
hard.
Yeah, it's hard. You think you can do it, and you think no problem. And I've played enough opens, and I can do it. And definitely some mistakes. I'd love the opportunity to do it again. Am I burning to do that? No, not necessarily. I'm burning to play, right? So you don't need to hear about me. So
no, but for sure, obviously the transition. Well, not the transition. I'm using Daryl's words now. Daryl's really rubbing off on me. But I know you coached and mentioned in here you're coaching teaching and you coach seniors. That was probably a whole lot different in coaching a tournament ladies team.
I've only coached tournament and seniors.
Okay. So
so coaching the seniors, on the first one I coached, my sister was on the team.
Oh, okay.
And then on the second one I coached, Jim was on the team.
Oh, Jim was on. Okay. Yeah.
He was. And we're still married. Yeah. But
that was good training for COVID.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. It is. It's it's very different. And again, so the seniors is a mixed team too. So now you're coaching a mixed team. But it's different. But not a bad different. Just different. You can
You are very, very politically correct.
Yeah.
I know.
Do you have a preference between playing?
I don't want this to come back and bite me in the. But you said
it won't.
Did you have a preference to play Open versus Masters? We've asked this question.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I've had more success in the Open, and I don't know why, but Masters is just I don't know. It's just a different animal. I don't want to say that I enjoy it more, but I enjoy it more. Yeah,
well, that's fine.
And now, is that because you don't have a sub to rely on? That you're a team and you're a group and you've got to come together.
That's probably it in part. I also just find that the camaraderie off the lanes, even at the Masters, is just more. I'm more apt to talk to more people outside my own province at a Masters, and I don't know why. But it just happens. But yeah, certainly the sink or swim, you're in. You're not getting pulled. Whether you're good or bad. I do like that. As a coach, I kind of like the pulling though, because that at least adds something to it. Coaching Masters, here's your 5.
Yeah.
Make it work.
Yeah.
So it does add a different element to it for coaching wise, but playing wise, I don't. Yeah, Masters just.
There's a little bit more downtime in Masters, and I think that definitely plays into it. And there's, sometimes a little bit more like events that happen as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, like it's not a knock against C5. I love playing C5. I don't know if I had, but you asked me to pick one, so I picked one.
They're totally different events. They got their own ups and downs, and everybody has their preference. And even on this podcast, this group, we all have different opinions on it too. It's it's personal preference, and that's the way it works. Yeah.
Having said that, I'd love to go back and play C5 again now, because I haven't played for probably 5 years in the C5. So I would like to go back and do that too, just because I haven't done it in so long.
And is that more, obviously Winnipeg hasn't had a association and they haven't played in
but this year they were back.
Right.
We did the Open, we fielded the teams, but unfortunately I was, again, my body said no. But yeah, I would certainly like the opportunity to do that.
Weird little asterisks in there for Winnipeg for a handful of years.
Yeah.
How about position in the lineup? Preference playing there. I mean, we know that you played a lot of anchor. Is that correct?
I did play a lot of anchor. For certainly for the majority of the years. Yeah, I love the position. I love the role. I love that I see it as a leadership role on the team. Absolutely loved doing it when I'm doing it well.
Mhm.
I don't know that it's a preference, but it's just something that I ended up playing it a lot.
But I think that speaks to somebody that's accepting of that's my role and wanting it too. Is that
Yeah.
I'm comfortable and I want that and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Of having the pressure of needing to bang out or needing something in the tent for the team.
Yeah.
And obviously your stats would speak for themselves that you would have closed the deal on many occasions for your team to do that. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. So that's a big check to that for sure.
Yeah. I'm also a firm believer that just because I'm throwing the last balls, the anchor bowler does not win the game. Okay,
No, right.
the anchor bowler just happens to throw the last 3 shots in the game. If nothing happens up top, there it doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah.
So it's just which I would love to get into the heads of some of the younger kids that I don't think necessarily see it that way.
They think it's coming down to them and it's going to be on my shoulders and I'm the one who have to do it.
Yeah.
It's not on your shoulders. That's your job. And like Karen said, it's your job. I'm being counted on and that's my role. So is that a different mindset that you would go in with or knowing, or how did you handle that? How did you cope with that pressure?
I don't know, it just kind of happens. Like I've certainly gotten up there in the 10th frame and I'm literally shaking, but that doesn't stop me from being able to throw the ball. So I'm still, it might be a little bit nerves doing this, but I'm still trying to throw a confident shot. It's just another shot, really. I don't know. It just kind of happens. It certainly happened more often earlier in my career. What I'm finding now is that, like, I used to be one of those people that get up and stand on the approach, one thought in my head, go. I have to think about everything now.
Oh no.
Yeah. This is it adds a whole new element to the game. Like you used to be able to just go. I don't have a spot. I don't throw over spot. I have an area.
Yeah.
So it's not concentrate on your spot, look at your spot. It's just kind of the middle's there-ish. Throw. Yeah.
That's what I do.
I like Tom's question there. Yeah. Do you feel anchor bowlers have certain characteristics separate from others? Or is that just accepting of that's your role? Or is there something, you're a goalie in soccer or hockey, you're bred a little bit differently and wired differently, but there's people that really enjoy and accept that role of being the anchor bowler.
I think you have to have no fear. Like you can't be afraid of a position, whether it's an anchor bowler, whether it's a leadoff bowler, trying to set the tone for everybody. You can't bowl from fear. So I think confidence. You have to have confidence in your ability, whether it's in leadoff, whether it's an anchor. Confidence. You can't throw. Dylish used to tell us, don't throw the ball hoping that you're going to get a strike. Throw the ball knowing that you're going to get a strike. Okay, yeah, and that was instilled from day one when she started teaching the girls. We would get together for a practice, before we start, and she's got a page of stuff that she's going to talk to us about. And it's about confidence, and it's about carrying yourself like a winner, even if you're not playing well. And people will feed off if they see you, doubting yourself or not playing well. People will feed off that. So always carry yourself with confidence and positivity, good positive thoughts.
Yeah, I think that statement is so accurate and so true. And sometimes demeanor is just as important as throwing the bowling balls. And you're absolutely right. If you're sitting there sulking because you're having a hard time, well, that's not doing anything for your team at all.
No.
Right? So,
or showing the emotion, you're nervous to go and throw the strike, and oh boy, I'm shitting my pants, and you got to go throw strikes now to the end, and
totally. As somebody that your competitor, if they see that happening, they're like, yes, we've got this.
Oh yeah.
So,
they're just licking their chops. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
It's crazy to think that we were just talking about this online with JB's blog about his 260
Oh, it's
average bowler.
260, yeah.
Yeah, and he was just talking about this. So this is a great talk about this because he was talking about how he was anchor bowler back in 2015 and how he couldn't deal with it or how he didn't deal with it properly, right? And so this is great talk with it. I totally agree with you. I think a lot of it's confidence and self-talk. Tom did bring up about positivity talk, right? So did you? What was kind of some self-talk did you when you were down there during key moments? Was there anything special you did?
I try to do most of my talking in the pit. Like the pit is for thinking.
Yeah.
And the approach is for doing. So I try to limit it to one thought once I step on the approach, and typically the one thought is if I'm playing well, same nice shot or nothing extra, nice easy approach, because I have a tendency to go a little bit quick, just a little bit. So just strictly skill stuff. Once I get up on the approach, that's the only thing I'm thinking of, and I try to do it in like one skill, one thing, and hope that triggers everything else.
I totally agree. I think almost all your thoughts should be done in the pit for sure.
Yeah.
This is a big reason why I'm very quick on the approach. I'll take, a second, if that, and go. But it was, playing through the opens and stuff like that, it became sort of a mechanism to, turn off the brain a little, turn off the pushing. It helps prevent that. I get up there, I rock, I take my first little step, have one thought process, go.
Yeah.
And it just kind of helps keep you in a rhythm a little bit longer too. But it certainly helps turning off the brain. Especially in those big key shots too.
Yeah.
Tom wants to ask about the positivity talk that you gave at your youth school.
Oh, thanks, Tom. I passed the information on to him for his book too. He knows that. So I'm a big believer that your attitude and what you put out into the world, as it were, comes back at you. Okay, so if I come at bowling or anything with a positive attitude, I'm going to get positivity back. I don't like to waste energy on the lanes on like getting angry at stuff. Like, and I'm not saying when I talk about positive, I'm not saying, oh, you have to be happy all the time, and go around with a big smile on your face. It's not that. It's just take something positive out of everything. Tell you in coaching, tell yourself what to do, not what not to do. Okay, if that makes sense. Like, don't tell yourself what you're doing wrong. Don't say like, don't do this. Say, do this, because that's what you're going to have in your head. So if you can take negativity out of it, far better off. You're
absolutely right. Especially with even spreading your wisdom to somebody else or giving them coaching. That's so critical. That's something Lynn really instilled in us when we were younger too. There's a big difference in the statement, get a little bit of lift over don't put the ball down.
Yep.
And it's the same thing again, back to the strike. It's like, you never want to go up there and be like, don't punch. Like, isn't it?
We've all done it.
We've
all said that to ourselves.
Totally.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but when we were kids, Tom Stevenson always told us that if you're going to be negative, you will be right 100% of the time.
Yeah.
And it's so true. Self-fulfilling prophecies, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I can't believe I just said that right.
But it takes a lot of work. It really does in the mental game to really frame it positive and telling yourself do these rather than don't do these. I mean, it's a lot of work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do something like your anchor bowling, the more and more you get confident with, I can do it next time, and I'll do it again, and I'll do it again, and I can do this, and I will do this, right? So
we had a little saying, some of the girls, when we'd be in the pit and we were chatting, whatever, and they'd be like, okay, get up there and and save us, or we used to play. We had a pig, and we used to pay for bad things and good things and what have you. So it was a blow pot, like you'd have in League A. And so if I had to save the team or save one of the girls or something, we need you, or throw a strike or whatever. The thing was, it's my job. It's what I do. And that was just a recurring thing that the girls expected to hear from me when they were trying to encourage me. Okay, it's my job. It's what I do. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's awesome.
A funny story here. I'm supposed to ask you about a trip to Thompson for the Masters. Did you stop at a farm or anything?
Who's that?
You know who that's, Karen.
Oh, Karen again. So, as some of you may or may not know, that llamas are kind of like camels, and they spit at you.
Okay.
Well, so halfway up to, well, no, closer to Thompson, there's this little place where you could stop called Ponton, and they had a farm. So I wanted to go say hi to the llama. The llama spit all over me. So I had to get back on the bus with green llama stuff all over my face, and couldn't really clean off until I got to Thompson.
Yuck. Just yuck.
Thank you, Karen.
Yeah.
What was this? Was this a dry trip? Like, I sure hope you had a few beverages after that.
You know what I'm thinking? We must have. Yeah. Yeah.
And Scott's asked me a couple times about the shoveling, so obviously there's something there too.
About the what? Ask the okay, we're not talking about that.
The Masters, and then we want to go on to, yeah.
That is not bowling related.
But this is a bowling related podcast, right? We don't go.
That's right. So we're not talking about that. Just know, Scott. You're gonna have Scott on at some point, right?
We already have.
Probably. Okay. Yeah.
Dude,
so, that's right too. Yeah. So, yeah, he'll get his.
Finishing up on the Masters, we've got a couple of notes about a lifetime membership by the Masters Bowlers Association of Manitoba in 2007.
Yep.
Nice little accomplishment there.
Yeah, so that was cool. We don't always, it's not something you give away every year, but after I had gone to nationals 20 times, they decided that it might be a cool thing to give people a life membership if they've been there that many times. We've since changed the rule, but I was able to take advantage of that rule. So yeah. I'm a lifetime member of the Manitoba Masters. So that was cool.
And the Master Bowlers Association of Canada Award of Excellence for Performance and Sportsmanship.
Yep.
That's a mouthful. Pretty.
Yeah. When the Awards of Excellence started, they still are done at the banquet at the Nationals, but I think it was actually decided on by the board. I might be wrong here, by the MBAC, like by the Canada board. And then in more recent years, it started to be more that each province, as their turn to host the Nationals comes up, they can nominate 2 people, or they can give 2 people a national award of excellence based on whatever. Mine just happened to be, they decided to do it based on sportsmanship and performance. Like, it can be volunteerism, it can be dedication, it can be fortitude, whatever you want. But yeah, so very pleased to get that when we hosted in 2014.
That's great.
Yeah.
And I think this one is one of the coolest things to have somebody can have for them. Is that we have an award named after yourself. So the Sandi Anderson Award is for good sportsmanship and fair play in the Master Bowlers of Manitoba.
Yeah. As much of a competitor I am, I take very seriously being a good sport and playing fair. It's just always been a thing of mine. So for them to do that, to let me help acknowledge other people who do that, who I think kind of have the attributes that I think make a good bowler, being fair play and sportsmanship and certainly skill. But this is strictly, I don't care how you bowl. If you go out of your way to make the new kids feel welcome. If you just stuff to help the sport along and to show that you have respect for the sport and that you think about it more than just what's my score,
Totally.
So we Karen Armstrong, one of the people that's been feeding you pictures, was one of the early recipients of that award, because she is also one of those kind of people that just goes out of her way to make everyone feel welcome, and whether it's on the lanes, off the lanes. So yeah, very cool.
Well, it's a very neat accomplishment to have, like I said, an award named after you, especially for that too. Like you said, obviously, accolade, sportsmanship, or something.
Yeah, something near and dear to my heart. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, it's an award basically named after you because you're a great person. And I don't know if you've
thank you.
if you've been reading the comments at all, but just the amount of absolute love that you've been getting from everybody from around the country, and literally from around the country, it just shows how great of a person you are. Cool. So yeah, that's super neat that you have an award named after you for being.
That is
that's awesome.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a keeper.
Yeah. Totally.
Another one that we want to get to is TSN. No, not a photo this time. Another little accomplishment. TSN, CBC, sort of cash side of things of playing for that. So I was amazed at the TSN number of times you've played. 14 times you've played on TSNs.
I had to keep going back because I wasn't winning.
Amazing.
While we discuss all this, we'll play a match in the background. It'll be on mute, but we can go ahead and continue this talk. Okay.
So qualifying through Manitoba would have been top one that goes, or was there two?
Usually top two.
Okay.
Yeah, we usually sent 2 girls and 2 guys, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yay! Okay.
The final between Sandi and Brenda Walters.
And Brenda, yeah.
Right.
And you had defeated. It said Jennifer Marshall, now Jennifer Smith, and Helene in there. And I didn't catch the first name.
Party, yeah.
But I mean those are 2 like massive opponents that you beat to get through to them too.
Yeah. One of the things that I feel so bad for younger people is that they don't have this venue anymore, that they don't have the avenue to do this, because it was, a wonderful experience, obviously, and chance to pick up a little bit of cash. You're not going to retire on it, but fabulous experience, and the kids don't get a chance to do this now.
You can see Jim, her husband's in the background there.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna ask her, how cool is it to have the awesome Adam Weber behind her? Though?
I couldn't even see him. He's skinny and with hair, right? So I couldn't even.
14 times. Did you have to keep qualifying every year to go back, or was there the rule of you get the auto qualify? You had to qualify each time.
Had to qualify each time. Yeah.
Wow. And how many times would you have made the final, or do you remember some of the stats there on how you would have done over those 14 years?
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
She actually has them in her bio she sent us.
It's listed, yeah.
And
I do, and I can't.
And she has all the money winning and all the matches she scored. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can't get to it right now, but that's.
How many, Tim? Tell us a little bit about some of those, some of the stats on the dollars or.
Well, I mean, this one here, she overall, I can tell you, she won about almost $22,000 just from the TSN alone, right? So if you did that, a couple of quick scores. I mean, she didn't have her scores from the 2007 one here, but she ended up winning $10,000 just for the finals here. So that was kind of cool. And then she came back the following year and came in 4th. The year prior, she was in 2nd. Runner-up, right? $5,000 for that.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
She went 233, 225, 343, and then she lost in the finals in that year.
Now, being a singles event here in TSN, different mentality, or how did you prepare for that mentally or physically even? How did,
Yeah, you know what? I don't know. It's just the TV aspect of it never seemed to bother me, like, which is weird because I don't even like getting my picture taken. Okay, but the fact that there's you don't notice the cameras, you just don't. So I'm just on the lanes and I'm playing.
And after playing 14 years, you get more and more comfortable, obviously.
You know what? You actually do. You do get more and more comfortable. The only thing that I wish would have happened, and it happened a couple of times, where people would still make noise. Like, I am so used to hearing noise in a bowling alley. And there's nothing worse than, oh, they're up. Okay, then it stops. Okay, then there's nothing. A couple of times, if you've had enough people in the audience doing it, they'll, kind of make noise through it. And that's what I'm used to. So it's a little bit unnerving to have there be no noise whatsoever. But yeah, you get used to it.
I think, I think it's okay when there's no noise right from the start of the match.
Yeah.
You kind of drift through it the whole way. The kind of consistent.
Yeah.
For me, the worst thing I hate in anything is, seeing somebody going up for a perfect game and then everybody stops talking. Or just, moves around the bowling alley and goes from a normal league night or, a tournament where there's noise everywhere to absolute dead silence just for a moment. That's the worst thing ever. I hate it.
Yeah.
It shouldn't bother you. You should get over it.
I can't say that I've been in that position. But that being said, I try to make sure that I try to keep noise going so that it's at least semi-consistent for me.
Now, are you talking to Jim during this match? Are you talking to competitors all, or are you just
not to the competitors? They're actually they're you're not really saying that much to each other, but certainly with Jim being right behind me, I'll turn around and say a couple of things to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Now I see Brenda's a goofy footer there.
She is. Yeah, she does it very well.
Yeah, I'm saying.
Yeah, she's absolutely outstanding. Yeah,
you're so aggressive in your style and approach there. It's great to see coming at it and just ripping the ball.
Yeah. Yeah, now, I resemble that. I don't look quite like that anymore, but that's okay. Yeah.
Still throw the ball so aggressive.
Yeah.
Like you and Karen's styles are so similar.
We are actually. We are pretty similar. Okay, so funny story. I do have a funny story. I changed my approach because of television. When I went on the first time I made TSN, and I watched it back, I used to bring the ball out in front of me and bring it up over my head. Well, I thought I looked ridiculous. So for no other reason other than you look ridiculous, I changed my style, which I guess was a good thing because it works. But so a little bit of vanity, but
that's crazy. What was it? Oh, I guess 1989 was the first time you made it.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense. In my head, I was like, 2007, you changed that.
No.
But obviously it worked out very well for you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's funny. That's the first year, the form of video analysis of watching yourself bowl. Right? I had to be on TV to bowl in a competition to watch myself bowl.
Yeah, pretty much. Isn't that the truth, eh?
Yeah. On that note, are you using film with some of your kids that you're coaching these days?
I'm not coaching YBC anymore right now, but you know what? Just on the phone. Like I did, Manitoba did a bowling school and coach mentorship thing in 19. It was the first year they were trying something different. So they wanted the kids to be able to learn from coaches, but they also wanted coaches that maybe don't have the same experience that some of us have to learn a bit more about how we coach. So it was actually a coach mentorship thing too. And I use my phone constantly, showing the kids different stuff. And because I'm sure you guys have known it yourself, someone will tell you you're doing this or you're doing this. Oh, that's what you meant. As soon as they see it for themselves, I can say something, but if you're not hearing the same thing or you don't understand what I'm saying, pictures work. It's a fabulous tool. And you don't need big fancy equipment. You know, you're in the bowling alley, pull out your phone.
Mm-hmm. And probably not used even enough yet.
No.
Right?
No, probably not.
You know, and even go back to the whole practice, you know, even before your league, are you throwing for half an hour and watching yourself and seeing what you're doing, or, you know, Carrie or Dexter finding the line, or you know, working your shot, or are you showing up a minute before and throwing one ball and then let's go, right?
Yeah.
You know, why not set that camera up right away and watch yourself go for 10 minutes and see if you can see anything that's off, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then CBC. So this is a TSN highlight. CBC. How many times did you play that?
4? I don't know.
Yeah, and the most successful, just the runner-up in 2003.
Yeah. That was CBC that took over from TSN. That wasn't the original CBC.
Oh, okay.
That predated all this, where it was where the girls were playing against the guys. That was once TSN dropped out, and they did. CBC took it over for a few years. So that was not the original CBC where you could win like $27,000.
Yeah, TSN dropped the pins game and then picked up the Canadian Bowling Championship.
Right.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, how about other, you know, cash events and circuits? You know, we see that Manitoba Open Cash Tournament.
Yeah.
The first woman to win the event in 2004.
Yeah.
How about did you always play in the Manitoba one? Did you ever go to Regina? Did you ever go to the Ottamoans and all those guys? How did
I'm old enough that I went to Regina when it wasn't at Golden Mile.
Right.
So I played at I think it was Prairie Lanes. So I went there quite regularly. I went to Edmonton, I think, once. Saskatoon a lot. But didn't do that was jeepers. That was probably early 90s, I'm gonna guess, that I did that. I hadn't done cash tour. Well, I guess, you know, I was probably in Regina in the 2000s, but haven't done that an awful lot. Again, I'm stubborn enough to think that maybe I still could. You know, maybe you'll see me out at a Regina. You know, all things being well and nothing hurts. I would certainly like to do. You know, I'd like to try some of the WCBT things just to try it. You know, just because I think that you're giving not just the older bowlers, but you're giving the younger bowlers something to do, something to strive for. That's not Masters. That's not C5. Just giving them a completely different avenue, and obviously it's working. You get some of the entries that you've had in the more recent tournaments. That's outstanding.
Yeah, not only is it the fact that they get to play against the best players across Canada, it's they also can pay for it instead of relying on saving up some money and going to a Masters or an Open. Like BC is notorious for it. It costs so much to go play the Masters tournaments, and then you got to hope you make nationals just so a little portion of it is paid for. Where one of these tour events, if you place fairly well, you can pay for that one and maybe the next one or the next two, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Do we know if Jim Head is watching this right now?
He is.
Okay. He is not going to like this video very much.
Missed corners.
Oh, yeah.
That I think I just saw 4 straight missed two left, 2 right. Yeah. Jim is going to be very unimpressed.
I think we were all looking forward to the Manitoba Open again this year. That was going to be here in December. I know that there was lots of guys from the, us podcast guys were definitely looking at going. A handful from Alberta to come again. I know back in the day when it was run, it was one of our favorite events to come there. And Edmonton and Winnipeg have always had a good friendship, and some of these guys. So
I was looking forward to it too. There's always this year.
Yeah. I guess we don't know yet now.
No.
I mean, here we are in March.
Yeah.
Are we going to be able to bowl again coming up in tournaments.
Yeah.
Autumn Open, I guess, would be the first one, guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It's
Then
looking like
TPC,
it.
and then Manitoba. So
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice. It'd be nice to see.
Yeah, I'd love to get out there. I never got to go to the original Manitoba tournament, and it makes me sad I never made that trip before it shut down. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that coming around. I can't wait to give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
That's at St. James, right?
That is at St. James. Yeah.
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 Be good and
my
good
buddy,
to go and support them.
my buddy Wesley has already told me that we can stay at his place. So,
Oh,
We
good
know
thing,
we're not
because
staying
you're not-
at Barbers.
I don't know if you guys have met Wesley, but I'll introduce you to him when we go out there. So.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
I know who we're talking about, but yeah.
Oh man, good times.
Well, do we have a big celebration coming up at the end of this video? Or is it's a little bit anticlimactic, as I think you knew from, oh, there you go.
A good finish to the match.
Yeah.
But I mean, this must have just felt so good when this ended and you had won, and after that many attempts, that must have been like a big weight, and just
It
felt
was
amazing.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like, okay, the monkey's off. Yeah.
Totally. That's awesome.
Was this one of the last years that they ran TSN?
Could be TSN. I can't remember when TSN finished.
It would have been 2000. Well, Johnny was the last one, right? I think 2008 was it?
Yeah. So this would have been. Yeah.
The last TSN, yeah.
10,000.
Well, we're just going to do it again on the WCBT tour.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a new wave of filming things and having it on camera, and
Exactly.
it may not be TSN in mainstream, but it's definitely for us, and YouTube is the new mainstream, right?
Yeah. No, pretty much. Yeah.
Get it streaming a different way.
Yeah.
Coaching, though, let's chat a little bit there on some of the coaching excellence. So YBC, you coached a team to gold in 2013. What was that? The singles?
No, that was singles. Yeah, they so YBC, you do coach chaperones. So
Right.
I had the girls, and one of my girls won gold, another one won silver, if I'm not mistaken.
And then in 2007, you coached the senior girls team.
Yeah. That was actually in Winnipeg. Yeah, we came second. Yeah. So that was fun. It's I know YBC is a lot different now with not having 5-person teams and stuff, but yeah, no, that was good. I thoroughly enjoyed coaching YBC and giving them the benefit of my years of experience. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate that, and even if you are coaching the Open or the Masters, it's still nice to be involved any way. I mean, obviously,
exactly.
You want to be a competitor, you want to play, but maybe can't always do that, right?
No, but I also enjoy the coaching aspect too. But yeah.
And how about a little plug for Jim? Now he's done a lot of coaching himself here recently. That's obviously nice to have a spouse who's been so close to the forefront and watching, and then him coming on board as coaching.
Yeah.
Is that something he's always wanted to do or always did, and then now he's more involved in the the ladies teams or the teams things?
Jim is actually a far better coach than I. He's had a lot of success in YBC with his guys teams. He has coached in Masters as well too, but he's been coming to the lanes, as I said, to nationals and stuff since we met. So he's been doing that for a lot of years. But yeah, it certainly helps having a coach in the family. Like, he can tell instantly if I'm doing something wrong or what I'm doing wrong. I might not choose to listen to him, but he can tell me instantly what's going on. But yeah, in the last couple of years though, he's decided he likes playing better than coaching. So he's actually he's done really well in Masters. As I said, he was on the senior team last year that I coached. And then he actually, in our aborted 2019-2020 season, he had qualified for singles for both the seniors division and for the teaching division. So he's always been the better coach, and he is now trying to be the better bowler. And so for right now, he's succeeding at that.
It sounds like he's going to break his knees.
So he's
No!
doing one of these in the background right now,
Yeah.
isn't he?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm just going to get my poop together and come back at it when we can go back out and see what happens.
That's got to be good to have that little bit of competitiveness between yourselves too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
Just
absolutely. It's
something to push you guys.
all fun and games. Yeah, it's
Totally.
all. Yeah.
Nice.
That's funny.
And then how about this very
How
cool?
about this?
Yes. Well, this is a very cool accomplishment, though, for you as well. In 2009,
Oh, okay.
there's very, very few bowlers across the country that have had this honor, inducted into the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes.
That's very special and very pinnacle of achievement, for sure. So,
Yeah.
what did that ceremony look like, or how did that go?
It's quite the big to do. They have a big ceremony at the International Inn. Victoria Inn. That used to be called International Inn. Big banquet. Everyone can. I think there was how many of us? There was probably 4 or 5 athletes that go in. Then they do builders and stuff. So yeah, it was. That was nice, and it was. There's only 5 bowlers. There's only 5 bowlers in the Manitoba Sports Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken. Dial is certainly one of them. Norm Shan is another one. So yeah, to be one of only like 5 people in there recognized for bowling, because it's hard enough to get recognition for that sport, but then to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, that was very special. That was wonderful.
That is really cool. Is there an actual building or something is there an actual Hall of Fame where you can go in and visit?
Yeah, there is
awesome.
actually. Yeah, they swap out. We have a sports federation, and it's on the main floor of our sports federation, and they swap out the displays and stuff from time to time. So it's not always the same thing on display, because they've just got way too much stuff it's not that big a place. So they've just got way too much stuff. But the last year or the year before, I guess they did a women in sports one. So they took down all the guys. There was no guys being shown any of their stuff. So that was really neat. I hadn't been there in a while. So I went in and took some pictures of all the other like displays of the other bowlers and stuff. So yeah, so that was really cool.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, we don't have. I know some provinces have like bowling Hall of Fames. I don't. Do you guys have one in Alberta? I didn't think so.
We're lacking it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like Ontario does, and then even their zones do. Like Hamilton and stuff has one, but we don't have that here either. So to be included in the big hall was kind of a big deal. That was really neat. Yeah.
Of anybody across the country that are, or how many bowlers are in their provincial Hall of Fames, right?
Yeah.
I know
like
Diane is. I think Diane's in Lethbridge, right? Is she?
Diane's out in Alberta. Alberta.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if she's in Alberta.
I think she's Lethbridge Hall of, isn't?
Yeah, she's in Lethbridge Hall of Fame. Gino's in the Wetaskiwin Hall of Fame, I believe. Like there's a lot of community ones.
Rossetti's in Rossetti's in the Lethbridge one. I think Diane's bowling shoes are in the Hall of Fame, Alberta Hall of Fame.
Oh, cool.
I think
I don't think she's personally been inducted though.
No. But yeah, we don't have one in Alberta, I don't think, if I remember correctly.
Friends out there in the comments or in the world, send to 5 Pin Universe people that are in their Hall of Fames, whether it's a community Hall of Fame, whether it's a provincial, whether it's city, whatever it is. It'd be cool to build a list of anybody who's in their respective Hall of Fames, right?
Yeah, she is not in the Alberta Hall of Fame.
No.
Neither is Bruce.
Yeah, I think we remember they've applied for it almost every year, just like Crystal says, Regina nominates a bowler every year for the Regina Hall of Fame, but it's sad that Diane or Bruce or the best in Alberta aren't in an Alberta Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what your process is. We had Dylas actually put together the information because somebody has to nominate you. So Dylas put together a lot of the information about me, and I think they keep it on file for like 5 years. And if you don't make it in those 5 years, then you'd have to reapply.
Yeah.
Right. I think honestly, maybe we might have a better chance now that we have actually a Hall of Fame on a national level. I think that might help out maybe our
That's
case
true too. Yeah.
Yeah, the Canadian Hall of Fame, the Canadian 5-pin Hall of Fame. If you're recognized within your own community, then you can maybe be recognized within your own community.
It might be a little bit easier. I don't know. Yeah. It's something we got to look into, that's for sure, because it's a shame that nobody's part of our provincial Hall of Fame, at least one, right?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And
if we're not going to celebrate our sport, nobody else is. So we have to, really, we are responsible for promoting our own sport, because if we don't do it,
We had quite the debate last week about 17-inch bases, 18-inch bases. What are your thoughts on the change and the innovation and some of those, differences to the game, Sandy, as somebody who's competed at the highest level of some of these little changes? Or is there anything else that's needed or not needed?
Oh, that's an interesting way to, 17 inches, 18 inches. Does it really make that much difference? Really? Do you think the 17 and 18 inch?
17 with black bases, yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was never a fan of the new bases.
It depends. It depends on the player, I think. To be fair, between two centers, like Heritage is very traditional, 18-inch, no black bases, to Sherwood Park, 18 inches black bases, and then Bonnie Doon with 17-inch black bases. For my speed and stuff like that, my average didn't fluctuate a whole bunch, but for the slower ball, it definitely made a big difference, I think, for some of them. But I think it just depends on the player's style that really makes the difference.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Are there any other changes that you'd look to make? I mean, it's hard to. What changes can you make?
Yeah. I don't know that it's the sport. I don't know that it's the mechanics of the sport that has to change. What has to change is like people understanding that it's there. Like you need the exposure. The age-old question: how do you get exposure if you don't? Yeah, but I don't know. It's just a shame that bowling centers are closing and YBC is seeing less and less people, and I don't know how you get. I don't know what the magic answer is, but it's a shame because they're missing out on what was a huge part of my growing up and even into my adult years. Like I've met people that there's no way that I would ever have met if not for that. You're saying you're seeing people come across from across Canada here saying stuff. Well, I'd have no reason to know those people.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Yeah. You're completely right. What needs to change, and obviously our position is the media need to be changed. The media needs to help support it and stuff like that, and hence where we came from, right? That's the only way you're going to get like Dexter doing TikTok. That's clearly more youth oriented, right? That's the only way you're going to get to a lot of these people that I'm afraid to say it, cut the cord. Like even if we get back on TSN and stuff, will our audience grow? I don't know if it would.
Yeah, I don't know.
So, sorry guys, I did. I'm just looking up for Alberta Sports Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Athlete nomination criteria. An athlete shall be evaluated with respect to his or her contributions to sport on international, national levels. An athlete must be retired from a national championship or higher level competitions exception to the retirement. They may be made for evergreen sports like bowling or golf. So it's right in there. Bowling or golf is right in there.
But we don't have anybody in bowling in there.
No.
So thanks for pointing us out.
Yeah, the athlete will be evaluated on the personal achievement awards and accomplishments, but also on their contributions and impact they made on their sport and their community in Alberta and Canada. So yeah, they did make mention of bowling in there, but nobody's in there. So maybe that's on a to-do list.
Yeah, we should talk to our A5 president and see what he can do.
Yeah, I'll email him tomorrow.
Well, we're getting close to wrapping things up. So if anybody else has questions or anything that we want us to ask Sandi, please let us know. But Sandi, I guess, as somebody who's, been there, done that, played in all the events, won the golds, is there a bucket list left? Is there something that you haven't accomplished that you'd like to do?
There's a couple that got away. There's certainly the one is master single. Now, at my age, it's maybe not terribly realistic, but again, I'm stubborn. So maybe that is pretty much the one that got away is the master singles for a tournament division. I have 2 silvers. One where I qualified first through the qualifying and then was just god awful in the championship round. And the other one I did something stupid in a 10th frame and I lost the gold medal. So that I would like that one. Yeah, that's so that is kind of the only thing that's missing, as it were.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And any advice for the youth that are playing now, or people that are competitive bowling, or for that matter, even us that are running this podcast? Any advice that Sandi Anderson can give some
good Lord.
words of wisdom to us? You know
what? I think you guys are doing an awesome job doing this. You're keeping bowling in the public eye. You're showing some people, like a lot of it. What I find now is that a lot of people, when you said that I'm going to be on, some of your younger listeners, who's that? So it's kind of neat to give some of us folks that have been around the block a time or two, to give us a chance to maybe reach some of the younger people and say, hey, I had a pretty successful career and there's no reason you can't. Just stick with it and be positive and do your best. It's a great sport. Highly recommend it.
That's
all I got, man.
Yeah. We're gonna cut that audio clip and make that into a radio commercial.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, there you go.
I think Dex said it the other day. I don't know if it was text or something, but you'd said, we're documenting history here a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's, Sandi, you're definitely on the radar for a long time, trying to get you come on the podcast. And we're glad that Tim was able to finally get through to you.
Yeah.
Come on. But, you are the people that we want to have on the show. And
that's cool.
The top 100 of all time, and more women. And, Tim's got several invites out there. But you were definitely top of the list of wanting to get onto this podcast because we do want to have conversation with people who have been there before. And the young people need to know the history of the game. And this is a way that we're getting to do that, is to have these, conversations with you and to run through the stats. And you're very humble and not, boasting about your accomplishments, but they're right up there with the best for sure.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
So we are certainly glad to have you on and have this chat. Look forward to seeing you again when we can.
Yeah, exactly.
And
what I will say, when you said about Tim having a bunch of invites and stuff out, I was terrified to do this. You guys aren't scary.
No.
Okay. So if Tim has reached out to you and you're afraid to do it, don't be afraid to do it.
Thank you, Sandi. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, that was my little PSA.
Yeah, Connie Ward, that's for you.
That's right.
Oh, absolutely, Connie, you big chicken.
Oh, man.
I saw that on was it on last week's?
Yes, it
You
was.
You had
Yeah,
said, and
yeah.
she said, "Me chicken."
Yeah.
Connie, stop being a chicken.
Getting peer pressured, but she should be peer pressured.
You know,
Exactly.
On this,
we can't
Absolutely.
wait for bowling and league and
Oh,
that
yeah.
stuff to come back, because then there's honestly more to talk about. There's more things that we can do. We can film our 8-gamer. We can film the pro team league. We can film a Sunday night match play. We can film.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what we want to do is media and content and create. It's absolutely wonderful to do these podcasts weekly, but at the end of the day, we all want to be on the lanes throwing balls too.
That's exactly right.
We'll continue to have these conversations, but there's more that we can talk about and to show people, and people can talk about their high scores, and we can see Len and Seth falling over the foul line.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Anyways,
Okay, well, Sandy, you're more than welcome to stick around after the podcast and
Okay.
have a chat with us. But we'll just ask you to step in the back room here, and then
You
we'll
betcha.
wrap this podcast up.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Thank you
thanks
for
for
coming
coming
on,
on,
Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah, you bet.
Well, that was awesome. Like you guys have been saying throughout the whole podcast, clearly one of the best players in the game we've ever had, and to have her on our little podcast and over 50 people watching live and commenting and blowing up our chat was pretty cool.
She kind of reminds me a little bit of Bruce. I could see why she'd be such a great teammate, because she's phenomenal and clutch, but she's also got that little bit of sass and the little sense of humor. I love it. I absolutely love it. You need that on a team, have that little bit of levity, and I think she would be so much fun to play with.
Totally modest, right? And then humble.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not about her. And she never really wants to talk about herself, right? I don't think she gives herself enough credit. So super happy she came on, and super happy she got the confidence to come on, and I'm honestly super proud that she was on. So thank you, Sandy.
who do we got next, Tim? What's our next couple looking like?
Next one, we got Mike Warren. So for all you BC people out there, so Mike's gonna come on. He's a little nervous too, but Mike's a little bit easygoing. So Mike's gonna come on. I want to maybe talk about the shoe rule. I mean, that's gonna be a big thing I think we might want to talk about. And all the silver medals, obviously. And then we got Kathy Davidson coming on. So the one who's always giving Daryl a hard time about the Buffaloes.
She called me on a Buffalo today too.
She did, yeah. And I didn't even know about it, but I guess it's St. Patrick's Day she's coming on. So maybe a little bit of a wild show for Daryl there. So I don't know about you.
Call in sick on Thursday, boys.
And it's Daryl's birthday too. Yeah. Even though, there we go.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job on those, and thanks to all of our friends that are in the comments or watching, and maybe you're not commenting, but we awfully appreciate people that are watching this, tuning in on this weekly. We know that a lot of people, this is what they look forward to on Wednesday nights. Listen to a bunch of knuckleheads like us watching or talking about bowling and interviewing people. We really appreciate that. We certainly look forward to it every Wednesday of doing this for people. And it's not hard for us to do. It's enjoyable. So keep sticking in, keep tuning in, and we'll put on good shows for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. And Daryl, another well-run podcast. I like sitting back and just taking it all in and then throwing my jabs in.
We're a good team. You know what? We're a good team. Carrie does all the adding the comments on there. You do all the production of it. Tim books all the meetings, and Tim builds the full agenda, right? Tons of stats and tons of things in there. Dexter adds in great comments, and I kind of just sort of lead the way a little bit.
Yeah, it works great.
Sometimes a little much. Apologies there. People have to listen to me talk, but
yeah, the only thing we have to bring back is Dex's rule book corner once bowling's a thing again.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
And maybe the what's my score. We haven't played what's my score for a bit, so.
Well, Kathy wants to play it. So
Kathy definitely wants to play what's my score. So we'll play the what's my score. But.
Yeah,
perfect. There you go. Well, guys, we'll wrap this week up, and we'll see you next week.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Good job.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys,
See you
everybody.
later.